have a really fun project with you. We're kind of revisiting an old project that I did probably a couple of years ago, where I built some DIY gift boxes that could hold 2 bottles of wine, and then they could turn into a keepsake box after that. Well, the joinery on it was super simple, just some butt joints and brad nails and glue. And I actually made an extra one that I never assembled. So I'm gonna be going over how I assembled that one the easy way. And then we're gonna mill up some poplar that I found in my scrap pile. We're gonna use some rabbets and dados, and we're gonna make this thing awesome, as well as add some texture to this, which is really gonna make it special. So stay tuned and let's get building.
Like most projects, this one started over at the jointer. We're going to be milling up the wood, flattening the face side of the board, then the edge side of the board, then planing them on the thickness planer to get them all the same thickness, then taking them to the table saw to rip them to width. And then we'll have 4 not equal, but flat square sides of the board to work with. Then over at the miter saw, I cut everything to length, and if you are wanting to build one of these for yourself, I'll have all the dimensions on my blog, and I'll leave a link in the description box below. Next, we're cutting the dados for where the lid is going to slide through, and then the bottom of the box that we're going to put in, which are 1/4-inch plywood that we're going to be using. Always do some test pieces on it to make sure everything fits perfectly before I cut the rest of them. On the 2 end pieces, we will cut that top off because it's not going to have the groove, because the lid needs to slide all the way through. Now it's time for the rabbets, and on this case I thought I was going to use my dado stack for it. So you see me here putting it all in, making sure it's the thickness of the board so we could do the rabbets on the ends. But come to find out, I needed to do a stop rabbet, and since the blade's curved, I wasn't able to do that. So I did end up switching over to my router, and with a guide I was able to get most of the waste away, and then I just needed to use a chisel to get the little tiny corner piece better. And I did take several passes at this to sneak up on the exact depth that I wanted. Before assembly, I went ahead and spray painted the bottom and the lid of the box, just because it's going to be easier to do it now than when everything's assembled. And now we're going to be assembling that old box I told you about, the easy way of doing it. All it is some glue, butt joints, and brad nails. This box is made out of alder, and since it was sitting around for a couple of years, the wood did move a little bit, so it wasn't going together 100% smooth, but it was still super easy. And once I sanded it and did a little wood filler, it turned out awesome. But all of it again was glue, brad nails, and some clamps. Now we're going over to the new joinery without any nails or hardware in it, and we're just putting glue on the bottom groove and into the rabbets. And then we put the bottom into that dado, and then we're going to put this in clamps and clamp all 4 sides together, or 5. And I really like these Cabinet Master clamps because they're parallel clamps and they offer equal pressure from both sides, which helps keep everything square while the glue is drying. Since we only use wood glue, I thought it'd be fun to reinforce the edges of the boxes with some dowels, just to make this box stronger and last longer, because the dowels will be glued to the 2 pieces, so it'll help hold everything together. So I just drill a hole, put the dowels in there with some glue, and then once that's dry, go ahead and saw those off and sand it and make it look beautiful. But now's the time to really make this box stand out and make it something that's awesome. We're going to do some power carving with my saber tooth bits. I have a 1-inch sphere bit right now in fine grit, the yellow. that I'm making some big bubbles or dents in the box. I just kind of made a random pattern, and then I switched over to a whisper bit in a 1/4 inch sphere burr, and one by one made those individual divots into the wood to give it a ton of character. And after a few coats of polyurethane, this is the final result. Oh, and by the way, I did end up changing that lid to orange. Definitely needed it. So what do you think? Do you like the one with more traditional joinery or the easy way with butt joints? The popular with texture or the plain alder? Let me know in the comments below. And thanks for watching. Oh, and remember, build loud, build wild, and have an awesome day.